Was kann man ihm, Freunde? Eunion. Ja, willkommen zu einer neuen Folge von der Fata Morgana Requiem for Innocence. Ich sage euch ehrlich, Freunde, ich habe keine Ahnung, welche Folge wir sind. Ich schätze mal in der 17. Ja, nee, schon im Titel tatsächlich. Wahrscheinlich hier mit dem Bro wieder mal. Letztes Mal, ja, jo. Letztes Mal haben wir Part 1 zu Ende gespielt, so, ne?
Ich muss kurz eine Piano Sound.
Und jetzt gehen wir in. Wie ist das nochmal?
Interlude.
Not a Sorrow in the World. Das ist wahrscheinlich Story zu Jaren. Na, let's go. Recollections of an Outlaw. Oder Outlaw? Mal schauen. You're in the mood for something juicy, you say? Hate to break it to ya, chum, but I ain't made all dough of dough. I'd like a nice slab of meat as much as the next bloke, but I'm barely making do as is. We all are, case you hadn't noticed. What? You're not hungry? You just want a juicy story to go with your drink? Why didn't you just say that to begin with? Wanna? Give me a sec. I think I got one you like. A few months back, me and a bunch of other blokes went out on a raid. This
Blokes.
Blokes.
Blocks gesagt.
Like blokes. This
This is a practice.
This puny little village. Yeah, trash. They didn't do much trade, just living off what they could grow.
Wir haben die Pirated-Version geschaut mit so den unfertigen Visuals. Das sah so lustig aus und ich dachte, das ist die fertige Version, das sah so trash aus.
They could grow, so no one figured we'd make out with much. Grab a little plug, some all the girls. That was the best anyone was hoping for. As usual, we killed the guys, had some fun with the girls, then killed them too. Nothing too interesting, nothing really exciting up to that point.
Ist das,
Ich glaube, es sind die Bandits,
ist
die.
das Gration oder was?
Kann sein, aber nein, eher so, wer redet, wir killt die Girls, had some fun with the girls, and then killed them too. Das hört sich eher an nach die Leute, diese Bandits, die uns ausgeraubt haben. Ja. But that changed when I busted into this one house. There's a man, a woman and a little girl. Me were 5 years old. Ja, dann ist es hier Flashback von Jaren, I guess. Siblings, just a girl. Maybe. No siblings, just a girl. Real small family for a village like that. I comes at me to protect the girl, and then Ma tries to block me away. No surprise here, I killed them both. Couple of unarmed farmers, easy as snapping a baby's neck.
Yes.
That left the kid. Wasn't like she could do nothing, so I didn't have to kill her. But you know how the stupid things get, crying like it's the end of the bloody world. So I figure I'll run her through before she starts hauling on me, right? But get this. The kid smiled at me and said, Where are you from, mister? Couldn't believe my ears. Girl, your parents were just killed by me, and I'm coming to kill you next. How the hell are you smiling? And how the hell are those the first words out of your tiny little mouth? Creep me out, truth be told. It's nothing. So much so I lost all interest in killing her. So I dug around to find anything worth taking, and I went on my way. But this damn kid, I tried to leave, and guess what? She fucking follows me. This doesn't want revenge or nothing, just smile like a fool. I'm a patient bloke. But this was beyond the pale. I yelled at the stupid thing, why the hell are you following me?
Oh.
Pit off.
Das ist das ist Sharon.
Ja.
Das Kind.
Kind. And she gives me this confused look and says,
Man merkt, weil ich müde bin.
I'm bored. Everyone else stopped moving. So I have nothing else to do, but you're still moving, mister. My damn head was spinning. She was maybe 5, yeah, I could understand her being a little stupid, but she shown down right from wrong enough to know to be scared of me. You'd have to be out of your mind to come trotting after the bastards who just offed your parents. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly what her problem was. She wasn't right in the head. I tried to get her to piss off, but she wasn't hearing it. The other guys started talking. Maybe we should just neck her, right? Then one guy would say with a big smile, what say we take bets on what it'd take to make the kitty cry?
Good, yo.
To make the kitty cry. So we just did that. We started placing bets. Give her a good yell and she'll cry. Knock her around some, that'll do it. I say yank out a tooth or two. Rip off her nails one by one.
Bro.
And finally, flog her till she breaks. We went round and did everything we could think of. Or absolute worse. Not like we ever pretended to be good people, but it ain't every day we see a bunch of grown men taking turns knocking the hell out of a 5-year-old girl. Hell, that by itself is a good drinking story if I ever heard one. But it keeps going. She never cried, no matter what we did. Not once. We would groan and twist her face when we hit her, so she did feel pain. But even that was only for a second. After that she'd be back to smiling like an idiot. To tell you the truth, she seriously creeped me the fuck out. I wanted to just end it there and forget all about her. But the rest of the guys, they took a liking to her. Wanted to bring her back with us. I tried to talk him out of it, but one guy, he says,
What's the big deal? Ain't like we're adopting her. We'll have some fun and when we get bored, she's gone.
and it's pretty damn hard to argue against that. Keep fighting it, it looked like I was... If I keep fighting it, it looked like I was trying to be the good guy or something. So now we've got this kid in the crew. First month or so she's with us, everyone treating her like their plaything. But after a little bit, that starts to change. They start being kinda nice to her. Giving her extra food, letting her join in on conversation, that sort of thing. She still creeped me out, sure. The way she never stopped smiling. But she wasn't ugly or nothing. Could be kinda cute even. Once she started talking with us more, I realized something. None of us knew this damn kid's name. So I asked her and get this. She says, I'm me.
Sie hat auch gesagt, sie hat nicht gecheckt,
Ja.
gewusst, wie sie heißt.
That's me. That fucking serious. Now, like I've been saying, the girls always never made much sense. But this was on another level. So
Always never.
Always never. Immer, niemals. But this was on another level. So I press her, no, what, your name? But she just tilts her head and says the same thing. I'm me. So you're saying your name is me? I ask, and she gives me this big fat grin and nods her head. Who the hell names the kid me? Me. Her parents had seemed like reasonable enough folks. They at least cared enough to try and protect her from me. They just run out of ideas trying to come up with a name for her, or what? As I'm thinking to myself, I see there's something sewn into the bottom of her shirt. It looked like writing, but I can't read for shit.
For shite.
Shite. So I call over the only educated guy in the crew and have him look at it. Turns out it was the name, Jaren. Your name and me, it's Jaren, I say. And she lights up like a fucking village we just got through with. Is she Skelett? This is Tolkien.
Really? My name is Jaren?
Hey, you really have fun?
I never knew.
I let out the biggest sigh of my life and say to her, coolest brother ever
Ja,
known.
genau sowas.
Das klingt wie hieß. Oh Gott.
Wusste jetzt eigentlich einfach. Obwohl, ich weiß nicht, ob das zu Copy-Strike. Hunter.
Yeah,
Risk weiß nicht mehr.
probably. I'm pretty sure. I know. But a month after you pick the girl up, we had a bit of trouble. Oh fuck! Oh fuck!
Läuft eigentlich dein Copy-Strike ab?
In einer Woche oder so?
Aber dieses Prüfung nicht machen, ne? Deswegen.
Ja, und trotzdem braucht es so lang.
Nö.
Well, a month after we picked up the girl up, we had a little trouble. Ich finde es echt scheiße, bei der, wie es so geschrieben ist. There's this chubby bloke by the name of Marcus and he starts getting this thing for her, yeah? Und ich liebe so hohes Englisch als die scheiße Idee. And want to get on a guy about what gets his rocks off by the 5-year-old? That just ain't right. Marcus was kinda slow in the head, always at the back of the pack, and mostly useless when we went out on jobs. Only reason we kept him around was cause he made a good pack mule. He was annoying as hell besides. As all hell besides. Always saluting and saying aye aye, like he thought we were a bunch of pirates or something. And he called everyone boss, cause apparently that was the only form of respect he knew. Das hat ja Jaron dann übernommen, ne? I und Boss. Day after day, oh, I boss, and I'm honored boss, and let me message you back boss, was enough to drive a man mad. And cause he was the, get a sound play on it. And cause he was the first one to talk to her, Jaron started imitating him, oh hell no. So now we got two buffons running around talking like that. Obnoxious as it was.
Buffoons.
Buffoons?
Buffoons.
Buffoons.
Mit 2.
Buffoons. Buffons, hatte ich gesagt, ne? Egal.
Was?
Obnoxious as it was.
Haben wir Hunger eigentlich? Vielleicht nach der Interlude.
Was?
Vielleicht nach der Interlude.
So. Obnoxious as
Manchmal nur so, ich sag irgendwas und nur so. Was?
Ja, ich dachte jetzt, du hast gesagt, nach der Wut. So, was? Obnoxious as it was, though, end of the day, that's all it was. But that changed when Marcus started getting real fond of the girl. Every little thing we did, he'd go around telling us to be nicer to her, yeah? But far as we saw it, compared to when we first took her in, we were treating her pretty damn well. Of course, that's all relative. A proper slave probably still got less help from the master than we gave the girl. But remember, we only brought her along so we could have fun. We never intended to make her part of the crew, but Marcus wasn't having any of it. Son of a bitch actually snapped at us.
You babe, if you don't stop right now, boss.
Idiot wanted a fight, so we gave him a fight. The whole lot of us beat the ever-loving hell out of him, stomped his face in so bad he couldn't even recognize the poor bastard anymore. But that wasn't enough for him. His face a big bloody mess, Marcus said.
I won't let you lay another finger on Jared, boss.
Tell you the truth, I didn't think you had the sack. Then Jaren comes trotting in, seems she heard the ruckus and wanted to see what's up. Marcus' eyes went wide and he yelled,
Stay back!
But the girl, she just stood there, same old stupid smile on her face. Seeing her come in, one of the other guys smirks, plops his arse down on Marcus' back and holds a knife up against his neck and says,
Hey Jared, you like Marcus?
and with a big grin, she answers,
Aye, boss.
though grinning through the swollen, bruised up mess His face was, you could just barely make old Marcus smiling. Next, the guy on his back says,
Then would it make you sad if we roughed him up a bit more? What do you mean, rough him up? Cut off his fingers, scoop out his eyes, you know? Have a little fun. Fun is fun. Why would that make me sad?
You hear that? I ain't making this up. The girl's still standing there smiling, and Marcus, he goes pale as a ghost. And he did it. He cut off his fingers. Jaren still smiling. He gouged out his eyes, still smiling, and finally he slit Marcus' throat. Even as the blood spraying right into her face, she never once stopped smiling. Just before he kicked off, Marcus looked like he was thrown into the deepest, darkest pit of despair. I've seen the hope drained from God knows how many men's eyes, but that was on a whole other level. Another level. And as you can imagine, I wasn't the only one Jaren creeped out anymore. Everyone felt the same way. She was so messed up, we all thought we might start turning into her if we kept her around any longer. So next city we land in, we sell Jaren off. Also sie war gar nicht kidnappt, ne? Sondern sie wurde immer so gesellt. Zweimal. I guess. And we all lived happily ever after. Minus one twisted little girl. What do you think? Juicy enough for you? You feel sick? Sorry about that, chum. Ja, wem hat das erzählt? I thought you had a stronger stomach. I do wonder what Jaren's up to these days. She's still smiling like an idiot, or... Achso, verschiedene Recollections. Recollections, meine ich. Ja, gestern das diese ganzen ich kann nicht reden. Interludes in einem Video machen. Ja. Recollections of a Vassal's wife. Vassal's wife? Okay. Good day to you too, sir. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Yes, that's correct. This is where our slaves were when they were stolen, as I described when I reported it. What? The number of stolen slaves I gave you doesn't match the number you heard from other sources? Ah. No, I had no intention of deceiving you. I simply assumed it wouldn't be a problem because I wasn't claiming we lost more than we did. Yes, I understand, I beg your pardon. So I should have reported the number correctly. I will do so in the future, so please, if you would look the other way just this once. Why did I report fewer slaves were stolen? I imagine you would find that curious, yes. Why would anyone want less of their lost manpower returned to them, indeed? It's quite simple. I did not think it would be any great loss if she were not to come back. Oh no, she was a fine worker. And she didn't cause any trouble either. You want to know about the girl? Wieder hier über Jaren, I guess. I doubt it will be of any help to your investigation, but I don't mind telling you. I warn you, it's not a terribly pleasant story though. Very well, as you wish, sir. Yes, sir. Sag jetzt wahrscheinlich Jacopo oder so, wenn Sir oder I don't know. We purchased her when she was about 5 years old, so she's been with us for quite some time. 8, maybe 9 years now. When we bought her, she was still too young to put to work. She was in good health though, and always had the sweetest smile on her face. So I had little doubt she would do as she was told. Slaves tend to be so gloomy and depressing, you know. Sorry. Not that I don't understand, but unlike many, we try not to mistreat our slaves. As long as they do their work, they have nothing to worry about. The best slaves, I think, are the ones who aren't so dreary as to be infectious and make us feel guilty. The girl's name was Jaren, and while she talked rather funny, she was as bright and cheerful as I had hoped. And she was always smiling from ear to ear. For a while, it felt like we had a brand new member of our family. Was so taken with her, I almost considered adopting her instead of keeping her as a slave. And how did I go from wanting to take her in, to not caring if she didn't come back. It's very difficult to explain, to tell you the truth. Yes, that's right, she never caused any trouble. She never stole anything, and she never refused to work. She never cried, and she never got upset. No matter what happened, she always did her work with a smile on her face. That sounds like the ideal slave? Yes, you would think so. And I have no complaints regarding her work. Neither did my husband, nor our servants. I imagine I'm the only one who would be happy to never see her again. I started thinking the girl peculiar about 2 years after we purchased her. Right around the time one of our other slaves attempted to run away. Yes, that's right. As I said, we have never once mistreated our slaves. Other slave owners could learn a thing or two from us, I say. We tell all our slaves when we buy them that they will be set free as soon as they've worked enough to pay back what we paid for them. Also wie bei Kaslevny von Willand. Das ist der Name gerade nicht mehr. Ja, auf jeden Fall dieser Farmworker, ne?
Kittel meinst du?
Der Kittel, vielleicht wenn das so hieß.
Ja, aber der war nicht so.
Die dürfen das dann auch frei sein.
Ja, aber nur die, wo er will. So. Zum Beispiel Arne nicht. Ich meine schon den von der Farm.
Ja.
Den Main Dude, ja. Das ist eher wie beim Kolosseum, wo man sich frei kaufen kann.
Ja, stimmt. So he had only 10 years and then he would have been free. Only. But he chose to spit in the face of our generosity and said, in the end, my apologies, I've gotten off track, haven't I? The slave who ran was captured soon after, but trying to flee is one of the greatest transgressions a slave can commit against his master. And as such, it was, as I'm sure you understand, necessarily to punish him. But I assure you, we never mistreat. Yes, I'm sorry, I continue. So as I said, he had to be punished. My husband took a length of rope and used it as a whip. I think it's called. He had all the slaves watch as he lashed the one that had tried to run. Also halt Exempel statuieren. It was for their own sake. Sake. Nicht sake. The other slaves needed to see what would happen if they attempted to flee. The lashing continued for a full day. All the slaves present reacted differently. Some averted their eyes, some cried, some looked on trembling, but it was clear they were afraid, which meant the punishment had served its purpose. Yeah, also Jaren, he smiled. For everyone except Jaren, that is. Yes, that's correct, she simply smiled. At first I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. But every time I looked over at her, I saw the same thing. As the slave, being lashed, screamed out in pain, Jaren didn't even flinch, she just stood there, smiling. Just looking at her gave me the chills. My husband thought it curious as well, but he wasn't nearly as put off as me. He was 7 at the time and a hard worker, and he said there was no issue as long as she didn't cause any trouble. But that completely misses the point, you know. She gave me the creeps. I wasn't comfortable with her around. But of course my husband had the final say. I couldn't defy him. So I did my best to forget that day. I couldn't get the girl out of my mind, though, no matter how hard I tried. My gaze was drawn to Jaren, and I noticed quite a bit as I observed her more carefully. Say one of the slaves hurts himself while working, you might expect another slave to ask if he's alright, to help patch up the wound, to volunteer to take on his responsibilities for the day, to show concern and compassion. But Jaren, she would just smile and go on her way, not a word. She was hardly perfect either, as anyone though, and she would make mistakes occasionally. Everyone slips up and we try not to make a huge fuss about it because we sincerely value our slaves and the work they... My apologies. In any case, we can't simply brush such mistakes off, so we make sure to admonish them whenever something happens to ensure things run smoothly. But even as I scold her, Jaren's still smiling. As I'm sure you can imagine, it's hard not to feel as though you're being disrespected. So once I lost my temper and smacked her. It was only the once, though, I swear. I'm not a violent woman. I hate raising my hand to anyone. Die ganze Zeit hier so sagt, so, dass sie ihre Slaves gut treaten und so. Shut the fuck up.
I raised my hand against only once, so I'm not violent.
Yeah. I was sure that if nothing else would make her cry. But still, she smiled, with half her face red and swollen. I was so perplexed I came straight out and asked her,
"Why do you not cry?"
I just hit you. Oh.
I just hit you. How can you keep smiling?
And she said,
"Why would I cry? I'm not sad about anything."
Pressing the issue further, I discovered she had evidently never felt bad for anyone in her life, including herself. Can you imagine? How terrible is that? It's not right. So I decided I needed to teach her how she was supposed to act. So, durch sie hat sie gelernt, so emotions zu faken. Oh my god. I taught her that when she saw someone get hurt, she needed to show sympathy. That's when she was being reprimanded, she needed to show remorse and a desire to improve. Jaren listened carefully to every word I said, and before long she started putting my teachings into practice. At first I was relieved. Jaren was finally a regular girl. She showed concern, compassion, regret, but it was all an act. She acted sad when someone got hurt, and then she turned around and was smiling again. It never lasted more than a few moments. Emotions were but a flash. They are then gone before you realized. It wasn't normal. It wasn't human. She didn't genuinely feel sympathy. Beyond the surface, she was no different than the girl who smiled as a fellow slave was being whipped before her eyes. Jaren had learned nothing. Unable to bear it anymore, I went to my husband again. I told him she wasn't normal. There was something wrong with her. I implored him to do something. But my pleas fell on deaf ears. She was a good worker, he said. We couldn't ask for a better slave, he said. But he couldn't have been any more wrong. He wasn't the one who had to look after her. He had no idea what she was like. How unsettling it was merely being in her presence, how deeply upsetting it was. My apologies, I'm fine now. As you can imagine, I'm not particularly fond of Jaren. So it was a weight off my shoulders when I heard she was one of the stolen slaves. Why are you giving me that look? You think I'm the one who has the problem? You think there's nothing wrong with her, just like my husband? One look at her smile and you'd know I'm telling the truth, that she's not simply a little eccentric, that there's more to it than that. Haben wir auch gesehen, ne? Dem ersten Smile so. Was das? I can't take it anymore. Is there no one who will understand me? Recollections of a prostitute. Also I guess eine der Prostitutes jetzt beim Brochen. Kick back for a bit. Why don't you? I'm in a mood to talk. Nah, I'm not gonna charge anything extra. I don't bill by the hour. Oh, you never thought of me as a talkative girl? I guess that just goes to show how much I've taken to you. No, I'm not trying to butter you up, I swear. I've been thinking a lot these days about the place I last worked at. And it's really been getting me down. I can't think of anyone I want with me at times like this more than you. Did something happen there? Hey, I've been waiting for that question. It's a bit of a long story, I hope you don't mind. There's a city about 10 days by carriage from here, you know, the one right at the Lord Banier's doorstep. The place I used to work was there, and every so often the lords would summon a few of the prettiest girls to come to his manor. I'm hardly the best looking girl around, even out there, so I was never one of the chosen. You're not the chosen one, but I am chosen. But honestly, I'm lucky for it. It's not the kind of thing you wanna go mentioning in public, but the Lord has some unsavory hobbies. Every girl who ever came back said,
"There's no amount of money you can pay me to do that again."
"Word it, the Lord has taste for torturing and killing his slaves. Not just if you screw up either. If he's in the mood and he so much as sees you, you could be dead. He's got a dungeon under his manor too, they say, and you can hear wailing coming from down there at all times of the day. The Lord enjoys all different kinds of torture. Flaying, dismemberment, boiling, the water cure. I'm sure he uses others, but I've only heard bits and pieces secondhand. He only ever killed the slaves though. The girls all came back in one piece. One piece! On the outside at least, being forced to watch people get brutally murdered to the real number and most of them. Some were so broken by the experience they couldn't work anymore. So the Lord apparently, he hosts banquets at his manor every so often. But here's the kicker, he only invites nobles that are into the same sort of thing. He's not the only one. We are being governed by God knows how many twisted freaks. I don't even want to think about it. Anyway, something like 2 years ago, I think it was, a couple girls came back looking a good 20 years older and they told us about one of these banquets. Most of the time, it's just him and his noble friends torturing slaves, but this one was different. There was a girl, maybe 10 years old, chained up naked on this makeshift altar, but here's where it gets crazy. The girl, who they called a saint, was covered in scars, head to toe. They cut her up and filled their cups with her fresh blood. But she didn't cry, she didn't even flinch, she just sat there quietly. And when she did speak, it was to condemn them as blasphemous and sinners. Can you imagine? Chained up like that, and she's scolding her captors, telling them God will punish them for their actions? I wouldn't have the guts. Maybe she was raised at a church or something, but I'm guessing that it's got something to do with why they called her a saint. Oh yeah, the slaves' revolt was right around that time too. You hear about that? Just rumors? Well, they're not just rumors. It really happened. Because of the revolt, the girls who'd been there made it out in mostly decent shape, and for a while afterwards, the Lord didn't send for anyone. Oh, vor allem, ich muss nochmal ehrlich sagen, das ist, glaube ich, einer meiner Lieblingssongs. Der ist so chillig. So, der ist echt so.
Willst du Shazam? Oder denkst du, es findet es nicht?
Können wir. Ja, können wir mal kurz machen. Yeah. I'm guessing he was too preoccupied patching up the holes in his manor and finances to spend much time fooling around. Sort of changing topics for a second, but about that same time this dark-skinned girl, the kind you don't see too often around these parts, started working here. Her name was Jaren. She was pretty. Always had the widest smile on her face and real friendly. Seemed like she kinda like the kind of girl who would draw in a lot of business. And I was right. Within a couple weeks, she had already picked up a few regulars, and our manager was going on about how happy he was with his presence. His purchase. Ich dachte kurz, ja, was hab's da? About a month in though, we started getting complaints from one of her customers. He said she was being condescending with him.
Wahrscheinlich ihre Art, wo das heißt. So abwertend.
I brought it up to with Jaren, but she said she had no idea what he was talking about. So I assumed the customer was just imagining it or full of it. You get guys like that all the time in this business. No, don't worry, you're not one of them. But the complaints kept coming in which made me think maybe there was something going on. So I decided to talk things out with the guys making the complaints this time, got a better picture of what the problem was. Most of them were pretty useless and vague, but the common issue seemed to be that her behavior didn't make sense. One guy came in after bungling a huge trade deal, hoping to find some comfort, and he spilled his guts to Jaren, but instead of trying to console him, she laughed. You can see why he couldn't be thrilled about that. When I asked Jaren about it, she gave me a confused look and said,
I thought he was telling a funny joke. Det är så förbjudet att vi
Yeah, there was no malice, nothing. She genuinely didn't understand how the customers wanted her to act. Can't run a business like this without a solid customer base, so making sure everyone leaves happy is crucial to operation, which is probably not something I should be talking about with a customer, but well, you're special, so cut me some slack, okay?
Okay.
Anyway, something had to be done about Jaren. We couldn't risk my dissatisfied customers, so I figured the best thing to do was give her some training. Here's how you should react if a client brings up such and such, and here's what you should say if they're looking depressed or upset or whatever. How and when to be reactive and how and when to be proactive. Jaren was a quick study, so it was long before she was putting my lessons to work. I would have been happy with just reducing the number of complaints to a more normal level, but Jaren improved so dramatically we had nothing but praise from then on. Their patron was looking a little blue. She'd give them a big pouty face and say,
What's the matter? You can tell me anything. Oh no, that's terrible. I feel awful. Is there anything I can do to help? Anything at all?
Just this constant stream of comfort, almost to the point of being excessive. She had gone from bright and energetic to sweet and sympathetic as well. On the surface, anyway. Every confidence she offered was completely fake. She was acting, and I knew, because I was the one who had taught her how. There was nothing wrong with that, though. We're not in the business of genuine human interaction, after all. Thinking back on it now, though, I probably should have taught her what the real thing felt like, rather than just how to fake it. About a year later, the Lord started sending for girls again. We all knew he was a madman, and that was common knowledge. But he paid well, and everyone always came back alive. So we reluctantly complied. But we were wrong. He did kill the girls this time. One came back alive, but she was missing an eye and half an arm. She was in no condition to go back to work. Even just going about her daily life would be difficult. We were aghast. But things only got worse from there. The next time the Lord sent for us, we panicked. For one, no amount of money was worth what waited at the Lord's manor. And two, it was impossible to run a business if your employees kept getting killed. So we attempted to turn him away, but his messenger simply said,
The Lord will not take no for an answer.
We either complied or were all executed for treason. What little hope we had left crumbled. We were screwed either way, so we fought among ourselves like a pack of wild animals.
I'm too ugly, you go. I have more regulars, you go. No one likes you anyway.
Pure chaos, aber dann hat Jaren selber freiwillig gemacht, safe. I was, of course, part of the brawl. And here's where she comes in. Jaren. Everyone's in a big mob, clawing each other's faces off, and she just tilts her head and asks,
Why are you so afraid of the Lord?
Jaren hatte kurz ein bisschen Brain Age. Seeing that stupid, clueless look on her face, just about everyone in the room bursts a vessel.
Alright, we sent her.
We said, and it was decided. Jaren smiled, not bothered in the slightest, and gave us a cheery
"See you later,"
and went off to the Lord's Manor. To no one's surprise, she never came back. We figured she had been killed. A week or so later, the messenger showed up again, asking for more girls. By this point, the manager was furious. He demanded to speak with the Lord in person, saying if something wasn't done, the whole brothel would collapse, and he put his life on the line to prevent it. Seeing him so resolute, I felt a newfound respect for him. I also thought he was a complete idiot, but I still respected him. After all, there was no way the Lord would be open to negotiation. That much was obvious from everything he had done. The manager and a few assistants set off to for the Lord's Manor, and about 2 weeks later he returned. Or his head did. Oof. His assistants managed to avoid death, so they were able to tell us what had happened. No one was exactly thrilled to hear more twisted tales about the Lord, but we listened anyway, and no one could have imagined what they told us. Jaren was there, with the Lord, alive and well. Not only had she not been killed, he had apparently taken quite a liking to her. The manager was surprised to see her too, but he figured it was as good a chance as he would ever get. If Jaren would speak up in his favor, the Lord might actually listen to her. She, emboldened, the manager pled with the Lord. Begging him not to harm the girls. That we wouldn't be able to send anyone else otherwise. And for attempting to oppose him, the Lord ordered the manager be executed. The manager, however, entreated Jaren for help.
If you have a hard turn, please tell the Lord not to take my life. I have people who need me.
Without hesitation, Jaren nodded, saying,
You think you could maybe let me live?
Him?
Live?
That seems a bit, I don't know, disrespectful for a whore to ask to the Lord like that. To speak like that, to the Lord like that. But he didn't get upset with her or anything. He really had taken a liking to her, apparently. The Lord nodded and said,
I'll offer you a choice then. Jaren, you may have withdrawn one of the following you prefer. Either I spare this man's life, or you can have my full attention for the rest of the day.
Nur für einen Tag. The manager and his assistants were all baffled. How was that even a decision? How was a man's life, a man who had employed her for more than a year, no less comparable to a little attention? But they were even more baffled by Jaren's reaction. She thought about it for a second, and then blushing, she said,
I want your attention.
Everyone's jaws dropped. The manager about burst into tears. He begged her to reconsider, to have pity. He asked what he had ever done to wrong her.
You never did me wrong,
she said.
Then why won't you leave him? Why won't you have him spare me? I just want his attention more. And you're willing to let me die for that? What's so scary about dying anyway?
Not only did she not comprehend sorrow, she seemed to be devoid of anything resembling fear as well, which explained why she had so much trouble sympathizing with people suffering, why she was always smiling no matter how bad things got. Without our manager, the brothel went to hell. His son took over, but he didn't give a damn about any of the girls. All he cared about was if he had enough booze to keep himself perpetually smashed. Perpetually. So figuring I had a better chance elsewhere, I left everything behind and ran, leaving my future in fate's hands. Fate was kind to me, and I managed to make it here. They come to me in my dreams sometimes, though. I still see the faces of the poor girls we sent off to the gallows. Oh. Lord, Jaren perspective.
Yeah, well. Nah, where am I again?
Awake again, are you, whore?
Ah. Oh. Who are you, sir?
It would seem your memories have not fully recovered. Allow me to remind you how you got here then.
No, wait. It's right on the tip of my brain. Let's see. I was at the brothel. Then I was invited to the Lord's place. I only brought to a dog. Only brought to the big city.
I got, bro.
Then I was taken to the Lord's castle. The Lord called me into his room. And then you strangled me.
Indeed. Your memory has returned without problem.
Hey, I'm super good at remembering things. Wait. Why did you strangle me?
To test my theory
Your theory of what?
that you're mad.
Mad? Mad about what?
Not that kind of mad. First of all, I never bring just one whore to my quarters. I brought you here because you piqued my personal curiosity.
You mean you're having all this in here every day? Wowzers, you've got some serious stamina.
Not being alone with one person reduces the chances of an assassination attempt.
Ah, that makes sense. It's pretty tough being the Lord, huh? So what you're so curious about little me for?
The other day, you and a handful of other whores attended the torturing of a slave, if you recall. Huh?
It's funny, so other horse.
Yeah, I made you watch as he died. But you didn't seem affected in the slightest.
Ah, crap. I'm so sorry.
For what?
I wasn't sad enough, was I? The nice farm lady and the girl at the brothel taught me how to be sad and how to be angry. But if I'm not careful, I forget. I'm sorry for not being as sad like I was supposed to.
As I said, you piqued my interest. Had you stopped and screamed like any other whore, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
What? So, me not being sad wasn't bad?
That it wasn't.
Huh. No one's ever said that to me before.
I always thought you unusual, but I couldn't be certain about what you were without getting more personal. Which is why I brought you here to test that theory. You don't fear death, do you, whore? Do you, whore?
It's not just death. I've never felt sad or scared about anything ever. I didn't even know sad or scared were things people felt at all until someone told me. But now I know all about them and how you're supposed to act when you feel them. I just don't know what they actually are.
Truly fascinating. Tell me more.
Huh? What do you want to know?
Let's see, tell me your whole life's story. Tell me everything as far back as you remember.
Wow. No one's ever been this interested in me. This is super nice. Alright then, I'll tell you everything. Don't hesitate to conk out if you get bored. And ta-da, here I am. What do you think? As boring as I thought it would be?
Hardly. That was easily the most engrossing childhood story I have ever heard. Was ist engrossing? So
Dass man so
engaging
drin ist, so, ja.
Ja. Also wenn Richard nur dabei war.
Ja, so im Grunde ist es.
Ja, für mich nicht. ASL probably. Smelling as your parents are killed before your eyes? Was ist so deine most engaging child story? I hardly want to talk, but you're one truly heartless girl.
Cool.
Mm.
I still wish I could do that over. I really loved my mom and dad, and the nice farm lady told me you're supposed to be sad when people you love die.
That's why you want a do-over?
What?
You're incapable of experiencing sorrow, no? Finding it for the occasion won't change the fact you don't actually feel sad about losing them.
I guess you're right. I can pretend, but I still don't know what it feels like. I don't understand why people are so afraid of death to begin with. I mean, pain isn't fun, I get that much. But if you don't let it bother you, it's not that big a deal. Plus, once you die, you get to go to heaven. So I don't get what there is to be so afraid of.
Not everyone goes to heaven.
Oh, that's right. But still, I'm sure there are plenty of fun things to do in hell.
Fascinating. You truly are twisted to your very soul.
Oh, but I do sometimes feel disappointed.
Do tell.
Like, I sometimes wish I could eat my mom's supper again. And I feel left out when everyone's talking about how weird I am. Maybe sad, it's just like an even stronger version of that.
I get the impression your entire experience of negative emotions is fundamentally disordered, so I don't know if you can say that. Jaren.
Hi?
Would you like to remain with me?
What?
Normally I'd send horse back to where they came from when I'm done with them. But I'm offering you the chance to stay here with me.
Are you asking for my hand in marriage? What do I do? What do I do? I went from whore to the Lord's wife in 3 seconds flat.
Fool! I would never even take a male prostitute as a concubine.
Right.
I am, however, fond of you, so I'm offering you a place in my house.
So you're saying you actually want me around? Even knowing what kind of person I really am?
You could say that, yes.
Wow, no one's ever actually wanted me before.
Dun dun. As promised, Jaren, you have my full attention for the rest of the day. Honestly, it shouldn't surprise me anymore how twisted you are. Twisted so far, in fact, you're the most sincere and honest person in the land, to a fault. You hardly even gave that man's life a second thought. The look on his face as he died was magnificent. You are a cruel girl.
I didn't do anything wrong, no matter what you say. I didn't steal anything. Gosh, die Augen waren so von... So, über die Augen so von schön. I didn't steal anything, I didn't kill anyone.
Genau. Hast du nicht gemacht, ne?
I try to stay out of everyone's way as much as possible.
So you actually have some concept of right and wrong? Which means you understand that I am a wicked man?
Wicked. I was taught the difference, yes.
Fascinating. However, simply knowing the difference, hey!
Sorry.
Is of no use.
Sorry.
If you don't feel repulsion, it's supposed to elicit purpose. Knowing full well that I was acting maliciously, still you selfishly chose my affection, sentencing that man to death.
That's not what I... No, I guess you're right. I guess I did let them die for my own selfish desires. Looks like I've still got a lot to learn.
No. You stay exactly the way you are. As I've said before, you don't need to put up a facade around me. Don't act sad if you're not sad. Don't act angry if you're not angry. Don't feign pity for someone you don't care about. Be you.
But everyone says
Your natural self neither disgusts nor disturbs me. In fact, I greatly prefer you that way. No matter how many slaves I kill and torture, for my own entertainment you never leave my side. You happily accept me no matter what I do. I would rather not lose that. Don't stand so far away. Sit down beside me.
I
I've allowed you to stay here for a month now, and in that time you've been a constant source of entertainment, and you've expressed no desire to leave either, despite being well aware what kind of man I am.
The same goes to you, Banya. You want me to stay even though I'm such a weirdo.
Haben sich wohl zwei Verrückte gefunden, I guess. The difference between you and I, though, is that I kill and you do not.
You know, I've been wondering,
What?
why do you like killing so much?
It would seem your perception of me is slightly inaccurate. It is not the act of killing I enjoy, but the look of dread and despair on a man's face as his life is ripped away.
There's a difference?
In your mind, perhaps not.
I'd kinda like to know what it's like in your mind then. I told you my story.
Oh,
Maybe you could tell me more about you, Banya.
it's Banir flashback?
Not that I blame you if you don't want to tell a prostitute like me.
You're not a prostitute anymore.
I'm not? Then what am I?
You're my property.
Oh, that sounds super nice.
So to answer your question, I was not always the man I am today. I had several brothers, though I was the eldest. As such, I was the first in line of succession. There should have been no question as to who was the rightful heir to the house. But my father, the previous lord, wanted my brothers to succeed him instead. Without any reason to pass over me, though, he would have faced significant opposition and put the family's reputation and legitimacy at risk. I was neither infirm nor mentally challenged, but rather extremely talented, which gave my father no leverage to deny me the throne. The one thing I lacked was sycophantry. Ja, Bro.
Ja.
Kurz einmal gut übersetze ich. Wir wissen
Wetten ist ja Psychophantie und dann ist ja, das will auch nicht weiter.
Da steht noch jemand. Speichelleckerei. What? Also das ist ja halt so, weil bei wem man die Füße lecken muss, oder was? Seeing people try to butter each other up made me physically sick. Ja, okay, verstehe. It seemed to me the last kind of behavior royalty should be engaging in. I believe that merely possessing leadership abilities should be sufficient for ruling effectively. But in this world, only those who can win others' favor make it anywhere. Only
In dieser
those.
Welt überleben wollt. Ist nur ein Weg.
Fortnite. Only those who can make themselves look good in their peers like fools. Those who can claim other achievements as their own, who can appear to have more power than they actually do. My father and brothers forsook me, making an attempt on my life. Because they could not legitimately remove me as the rightful heir, they could only kill me if they wanted their way. What? Only kill me if they wanted their way. Sorry for shit. I was fortunate enough to survive the attempt, but I still carry the scar today.
You mean the big on your back?
That's right. You're surprisingly observant.
Hehehe.
I was in danger of not just losing the lordship, but my life. I was left with 3 choices. To let them kill me, to flee and live in poverty, or to kill them first. Yeah, to kill them first, I guess. Gemacht, ne? I was born to rule, though, so in reality I only ever had one choice. I murdered my father and all my brothers, leaving me as the only one in the line of succession. But becoming the Lord did not immediately win me everyone's favor. Distant relatives crawled out of the woodwork to claim my throne as rightfully theirs. The people just demanded I satisfy their every whim and fancy, and even my attendants tried to push their own agendas. The whole affair quickly grew tiring. Dozens were clamoring for a say in matters I could easily handle myself, so I silenced them. Before long, the prodding voices had become corpses. And it was somewhere around that time that I found myself intrigued by fear. Fear is a wonderful thing, an incredibly effective silencer that spreads like a plague. Sufficient application would preemptively stop everyone from interfering. Fear strips man of all his will. When it became apparent to me that one did not have to be a great leader to rule effectively, all the time I had spent in my younger days working to improve myself felt like an incredible waste. Fear becomes the centerpiece of my rule, and as I continued to employ it, I began to derive great pleasure from the despair it instilled in others. Men trembled at the sight of me. Trembled. They bowed their heads and abandoned their dignity. They begged me to spare their lives, and what an exquisite sight it was every single time. Enrapturing. You were born into your madness, Jaren, but I was molded into mine.
Huh, that's neat. But Lord Bunny, wouldn't it make me a bad match for you? I'm not scared of you at all.
Hehe, man is a curious beast, you see. Once everyone feared me, I then came to seek those who did not.
You are sure hard to please.
Ha! You make it sound like I'm merely a piggy child. Though I suppose there's a little difference in your eyes. There were a number of other among the nobles who had, like me, stayed straight from the path, hardly a surprise, given what life as a noble is like. Boah, ich muss echt sagen, Barniers, interesting character jetzt mit der Story.
Ich war eigentlich eine Überraschung, dass er so vermenschlicht wird oder so, was ich meine. Und das ist aber auch so, was er gesagt hat. When you're the Lord, you will see.
Ja. Und ist ja auch dann so.
Ja.
Also er wurde, wie gesagt, he was molded into madness und Jaren wurde so geboren. Seitdem ich ein kleiner Junge. Ich war schon immer gleich.
Seit ich ein kleiner Junge bin.
Seit ich geboren bin.
Seit ich ein kleiner Junge bin.
Seit ich geboren bin. War ich schon immer gleich.
War ich wurde überhaupt schon.
Also wirklich, sehr cool. Vor allem mit Barnier finde ich es interessant, weil Jaren, I don't know, man sie ist halt so geboren, aber das ist nicht so interesting wie, oder ich weiß
Doch,
auch.
ich finde es interessant, sie wären.
Ja, aber sie ist nicht, ja.
Ja, stimmt. She's not him.
Ja. Anyhow. Eren ist halt einfach cooler.
Er ist der Go.
Wie du.
Ja, er ist der
Go-Tier.
Go-Tier.
So I started throwing banquets, inviting those who would be interested. These parties were to serve two purposes. The first, obviously, being for my amusement. The second, to find those with similar tastes and bring them into my circle. I found little success with the latter, however, despite my rather zealous attempts at recruitment, so I no longer waste the effort.
You weren't able to make any friends then?
No, I was not. The other nobles had no interest in getting their own hands dirty. They only wanted to watch getting their titillation from a safe distance. Not a single one shared the same madness as me. Jaren.
Aye?
You are far better than any of them.
What? Thanks?
What are you squirming about? I thought nothing bothered you.
I am capable of getting flustered, thank you.
There is something deeply wrong with you. Steins.
You're the one who decided to throw that curveball out bei mir.
Curveball. Gab's damals schon Baseball oder was? Ja, kann man wann. Wir haben nie erfahren, wann Morgana so gelegt wird und so. War kurz vor mich, hat sie mal so gesagt.
Ja, eben.
War nie genau.
Ja.
Anyways. Enough with
Da
the...
steht's im Wiki.
Ja, vielleicht ein paar bisschen Backstage oder so.
Ja.
Enough with the formalities already, oder irgendwann wird es erwähnt. You're not a whore anymore. You're allowed to use my name.
Ja, vergessen wahrscheinlich. Ha, that is your name though.
You don't know your own lord's full name, do you, Jaren?
What?
Answer the question, girl.
I'm sorry.
Allow me to help. I will only say this once, so don't forget it. My name is John Frunctius Barnier, firstborn son and rightful heir of the Barnier family. Ist cool, ne? Jacob hat dich dann so genannt, ne?
Ja.
Der Amphrasos Barnier.
Got it memorized. Yeah, I doubt it. It's a really long name though. I think I'll call you Franny. That rolls the tongue nicer.
Hey.
I assume I can take that cryptic chuckle lesson, okay?
Only if you wish to be hanged. Call me Francois.
Franny.
Jaren. Get up, Jaren.
Au?
I swear you spend every moment you're not otherwise occupied sleeping.
I love sleeping.
I said, get up, you feeble-minded Nimrod.
Ow! You didn't have to hit me. Yeesh. There are nicer ways to wake a girl up, you know.
Das ist wichtig. Be careful. Ey, was hab ich da? Be grateful. I only hit you hard enough to wake you. I swear the church may have to redefine sloth if they ever meet you.
Wie lästig.
Oh, wie lästig.
This bed's so comfy though.
You do realize the blood of dozens of women has seeped into every fiber?
Comfy still comfy though.
Hey, that wouldn't bother you, would it?
So what's up? Francis Drake. You need me for something?
Wer ist immer Francis Drake?
Von Uncharted.
Ah, ja.
Der Vorfahrer von Nathan Drake. Also,
Yes.
nicht wirklich, aber ja.
I have a favor to ask of you.
Well, a favor of me? What is it? I'll do anything.
Without him hearing what it is, er schickt sie jetzt zum Brothel, ne? Also.
Doesn't matter what it is. You say the word and I do it, Francis.
And what if I ask you to take your own life right here?
Just give me the knife.
I should honestly be more used to this by now.
Why wouldn't I do anything for you, Francis? I love you. No one's ever cared for me like you before. No one's ever wanted me as much as you. Be happy with me as I am, despite me missing all the most important pieces.
Again, I really shouldn't be so surprised. Fear not, though. I won't be asking you to die today.
How much harder is it gonna be then? I hope you don't want me to kill anyone. It would be my first time and I'm not sure I could pull it off properly.
You're at the bottom of my list of prospective assassins. I thought you could successfully smother a baby. Although you could probably cause a great deal of death, I imagine. Was sie dann gemacht hat. I would like to make you into a mole.
So you want me to dig holes?
In a sense. There's been word of unrest building in the city of late. Money and resources gathered below the table. Murmurings of resistance being organized.
So a bunch of baddies.
Precisely, I want you to go down to the city and try to find as many baddies as you can and then report back to me. Can you do that?
I can try.
You will try. Excellent. A whorehouse would be the best place for you to start gathering information, I think. All I need you to do is deliver reports. Anything more involved would probably cause that empty head of yours to burst.
I just realized if I go to the city, I won't be able to see you as often, Francis.
Does that displease you?
No. A whole lot. Oh, I bet this is what being sad feels like.
In your twisted mind, perhaps so. How about this? I will have a servant act as a regular client of yours. He will pretend to be a well-off merchant. At regular intervals, he will patronize the brothel, requesting your services and bringing you back to his residence. He'll pay well enough that they won't mind you if you're gone for a few days, during which time you can come back to the manor and see me. How does that sound?
I love it.
Next, we need to discuss how you present yourself. Although you're free to be yourself in my presence, you need to put on a suitable act down in the city.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm getting butterflies.
You spent years doing precisely that before you came here.
But I didn't have you counting on me to do a good job for back then, Mother.
Mother? Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Is that really bad? I couldn't believe my ears. Allow me to offer you a piece of advice then.
Well, I'm all ears.
Really tell others about the misfortunes of your upbringing.
I don't think I had a bad childhood, though.
You may not, but others will. Your parents murdered as you watched, taken captive by the man who did it. Tell people your story, but don't act overly dejected.
Huh? Why not? I want people to think there's something wrong if I'm not sad.
People will think it's more unusual if you get too dramatic because it's so far out of the line with your regular disposition. Good acting is subtle, but not overdone. Yo, I see your acting skills and sagen, ne? Good acting is subtle, not overdone.
Yeah. Oh.
People will feel great pity for you when they hear you of your past. And then they will see your exuberance as a sigh you fought and found the strength of will to move past your ill fortune. They will be impressed, taken with you. So you needn't exaggerate your performance. Just give it a little bit of flavor. As long as you don't tell anyone those emotions are beyond your grasp, no one will have any reason to suspect otherwise.
Nee. me too. I'm feeling a lot better about this now.
I expect you won't disappoint me.
Aye, boss. So, hey, Francis,
What is it?
what do you do if, hypothetically speaking, what would you do? If I would, if when I go down into the city, I learned what sadness and fear feels like.
I would kill you because I would no longer have any interest in you.
Awesome. I'm just glad you didn't say you'd kick me out. Every girl dreams of being killed by the man she loves.
No, they do not.
Hey.
You want me to kill you?
If it comes down to it, I guess. Though really, I'd rather be with you forever.
Sie ist dann gestorben durch ihn, ne? Ja.
Und jetzt müsste es zum Ende der
Into the room, Jared, now!
Ja, das wird nicht so 20 Minuten dauern, oder? Hier,
Nee.
Rest. Das letzte, was uns gesagt hat. Oh, you're gonna yank my arm off.
I wouldn't have to if you would be moved. Listen very carefully. You stay in this room until everything has blown over. Do not open the door for anyone. Sie ist aber dann rausgekommen, ne?
But is this what I think it is?
You are only to leave the room if I tell you it's safe, or the manor goes completely silent. And if someone breaks down the door, tell them you're being held captive by the Lord. My predilections are well known among the people. No one will suspect you're lying. I must go now. Farewell, Jaren. I rather enjoyed our time together.
Wait, don't go. I've got an idea, Francis. We could escape through that window there. Tie the sheets up into a rope and climb down. Then we go somewhere far away, where nobody finds us.
I do not have that liberty.
Why not?
Because I am the Lord of this land. I was born to be the Lord. I murdered my own family to keep my claim to this title. And I will not abandon it until my final breath. I was a fool and a tyrant, neither a great leader nor a great man, but still I bear the responsibility of my role. Fleeing is not an option.
I never thought you were a tyrant.
The rest of my lordship would disagree with you. I used fear as a weapon of control, murdering slaves for fun and prioritizing my own desires over the needs and lives of my people. Do you have a better word for what I am? Whereas you grasp the difference between good and evil, but lack the requisite emotions to give those concepts meaning. I knowingly chose to stray from the path of righteousness.
Didn't you say you could run things just fine with fear? That it was very effective?
Indeed, you can run things exceedingly well with fear, though I never said you could do so forever. I first saw signs that people were turning against me 3 years ago. While I did what I could to crush the seeds of revolt before they grew, it would seem I missed a few.
If you knew this was coming, couldn't you have stopped it?
I've traveled so far down the weak path, it would be nigh impossible for me to find my way back into the light. Which means all I could do is continue on and see what awaited me at the end. I could never play the benevolent ruler though. Those people are inscrutable to me. They all appear to be either ravenous beasts or feeble-minded swine. Were I able to have any love for my own people, perhaps things could have turned out differently.
I can't stay in here and wait, Francis. And Francis, I want to be with.
You will do as I say, girl.
Shit.
This is good. Okay. What's gotten into you, Jaren? Death is supposed to be meaningless to you. You do not experience sorrow over loss. Jaren,
But I.
should I not come back? Go on smiling. Do not think I will simply let them walk in and kill me. I have dozens of skilled guards, and I can handle a sword myself as well. Far better than any mere peasant. Peasant? They're getting closer. Now remember, you are not to leave this room, understood? You are my property, and property does not defy the will of its master.
And what if I do come out?
Jaren, you will not be of any help to me out there. Should you obstruct me in any way, I will not hesitate to kill you. Ja, das will sie aber, ja. Also, es hätte ja lieber sagen sollen, I will kick you out. You do not have a choice. Is that clear?
Francis.
But time is running short.
I love you.
I will always place myself, the Lord John Francois Barneo, above anything else in the world. Nothing good has ever come out of France. And you second.
Wait. Second? That's super crazy now, isn't it?
Wow.
Whoa. Whew. I'm shaking a bit here. God, I've never felt this way before. Wir müssen echt den Master wieder spielen mit so Ratings. Ne?
Ja.
Is this what being scared of his deck? Huh. This is a lot worse than I imagined. I heard real someone's sitting on my chest. It's a lot worse than I imagined. It hurts a bit, like someone's sitting on my chest. I can hardly even breathe right. But it's kind of really wonderful. No, I can't do this. I can't be away from him.
Nee. Oh, a Requiem for Innocence Part 2. What's past? It's prologue. Lol.
Yeah.
Oh! Wherefore should the heavens say, where is the now their God, but our God is in the heavens, and he have done whatever he have pleased. The idols are sliver of gold, the work of man's hand. They have mouths ever to speak, and the vice ability to. Ich hatte voll das Ding gerechnet, aber that they will make I can lesen, I like unto them, so is everyone that is thus truths in dem Psalm 115, 2 bis 8.
Music.
Ja, Freunde, oh shit. Ach, deswegen hat er ein CG bekommen, weil wir ihn nochmal sehen. Anyways, Freunde, ich würde sagen.
Lass nochmal kurz das lesen, oder nicht?
Ja, lass nochmal kurz lesen. Was Foto gemacht?
Ich dachte, das ist ein Backlog.
Achso, stimmt.
Ich hab's nur von meinem gemacht.
Ja, ich bin los. Also ja. Therefore should the heavens say, where is now their God? But our God is in the heavens. He has done whatsoever he...
Dann.
whatsoever ye have pleased. The isles are silver and gold, the work of man's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throat. They that make them are like unto them. So is everyone that trusteth is them. Psalm 115, 12 sagt. Der ist wirklich.
Interessant.
Ja, nee, ich kann keine. Das ist mir zu eng.
Freunde.
Ja, sehr geile Folge, hat Spaß gemacht, Freunde. Interlude. Jetzt Part 2, The Conqueror. Ich bin sehr gespannt, wie es weitergeht. What's Past ist Prologue, auch interessant. Hier ungefähr 1,5 Stunden, Freunde. Lasst euch mal, checkt an, vielleicht streamt euch auf dem Kanal. Ja, aktiviert die Glocke und was ist das scheiß Ding, was ich hier drauf hatte? Dieses Nasenpuss. Ja, und damit würde ich sagen, Freunde, dass ich die Glocke oder was weiß ich, keine Ahnung. Nimmt ihr Like-Button auseinander, Bier, Champagner und Bier empfehlen.